All right, thanks so much, Mike.
Okay, so now let's officially start. I apologize about all the confusion on that. So today we'll be going over how to input an order into Fusion. The first thing that we will do is go over the training manual. Then I will go through a mock guide of inputting an order. So this is the agent training manual that everybody should have been given by your manager or master agent. If you have any questions while I'm going over this, please go ahead and type them into chat using the little box for the GoToMeeting. I will pause a few times during the presentation for any questions that you may have. Also, I will have Selena on the call as well. She will be helping answer as much as she can. And then once we're all done, we'll have a Q&A at the end, so you can go ahead and ask me any questions that you may have about the inputting order process. So to begin, to start your day, you'll want to have your American Assistance tent, banner, shirt, badge, the PVT template, both sizes, the swap policy, the dry erase marker, your device that you'll be inputting orders with, the California Lifeline info for prospective customers or subscribers, and then your inventory, your phones and SIMs. First, you'll log into ambtreseller.telcoprovider.com with the logins that you were given to by your manager. Never use anyone else's logins. Your login will have your first initial and your last name on it. If it does not have your first initial and your last name on there, do not use it. Because if you get caught, I'm going to suspend them, whoever it is, and you will no longer be working for our company. It's just imperative that you use your own. Now, if you're a manager and you're training somebody, you can call in and give us that heads up, but that is only for managers. And I, of course, know who all the managers are. So if you're not one of the ones I have on my list, it's not going to work. During the application process, once you have logged in, you will go to the Customers tab. Then you'll click New Order, click American Broadband, and then that's where you begin your application. On the left-hand side of the application, you will see the order ID number. Please take note of this because on your PVT template, my apologies, it'll look like this. You'll have to write down that order number. So on this first page of that is where you begin to fill in the customer's information. You'll put the customer's first name, the last name, and suffix. For example, for the name, if the person's name is Jose Rivera Garcia III, for the first name you would put Jose, last name would be Rivera Garcia, suffixed it would be the third. If the last name is hyphenated, you do have to include that hyphen in there. The middle name is not required, but sometimes it will help on the application. If you're having maybe a problem, getting them to go through the database, you can try running them again with their middle name. If it's not going through that way, then it's not going to work, but you can take that little bit of extra step if you want to and go ahead and put that middle name in there. The next section would be the home address section. This is where you'll fill in the address. So you'll put in the number, the street name, the city, the state, the zip code. The resident type should always be marked permanent. We do not accept temporary addresses here. And then also the rural address, it's usually no. We don't ever change that. In the additional information, this is where you can enter in the contact number and the email address. We do not require them at this time, but best practice is if you can get a contact number for our customer outside of their cell phone that we are providing or an email address, it'd be helpful and beneficial to our customer service team. So we can reach out to them, whether or not they may be having some kind of issue. Also, you want to enter their date of birth and then the last 4 digits of their social security number. Does anybody have any questions on these first couple of sections so far? Okay, then we'll go ahead and proceed. The next section is the order information section. This will be where you will select that the airtime and the new device will be given to me now. The first option is for us in-house. That is not anything anyone in the field will ever use. If they accidentally choose that, it's you'll get all the way through the whole thing and then find out that we'll have to cancel out the whole order. The customer will have to come back the next day and reapply because they've already been processed through Maximus. So do not push that first section. The third button, the BYOD, we actually do not offer that at this time. So please do not choose that as well. The next section is, do you currently receive government assistance such as food stamps or Medicaid? The obvious answer is yes, of course they do, because if they didn't, they wouldn't qualify for the Lifeline program. So please make sure that you choose yes, and that'll prompt the next section of the application. The next section, you will have to choose the program type that they are receiving. After you choose that, then you'll go ahead and choose the program or the documentation that you are trying to attach. The majority of the time, you'll choose official program participating document, and all it is stating that the documentation that you're attaching came from an official type of some sort, whether it be the stamp card that came from that that office, or it could be technically like a letter from Passport. Same thing, it's a program participating document. Now, currently on the application, it does not say application ID right here. It actually says SNAP card number. So you'll put in the SNAP card number here, like actually what is on the SNAP card. For example, I'll pull this up so you can see it. You would be inputting this number here. And what that does is we have a duplication check in our system to make sure that SNAP cards are not being used multiple times. Sorry about that. The next section is one of the most important parts, is where you will begin to attach the documentation to the account. There are proof of address, which is where it'll be a piece of mail that has their address on it. It must be printed. It can't be any handwritten documents or things like that. And you would upload that as the proof of address if it is not the same thing that is on an ID. If their ID has the correct address on it, you do not have to upload a proof of address. Your proof of eligibility, your POE, is the type of documentation that they are receiving to be eligible for the Lifeline program, such as a SNAP card, Medi-Cal card, anything like that. Their proof of identity would be their driver's license, state ID, passport, anything like that. Their proof of income will be if they're getting like Social Security. That would be an income document. If they make under the poverty level, that would be an income document. And then the other photo. The other photo is something that our company requires, is that you fill in the order ID, the signature of the agent, and then the date. And then the customer themselves have to hold that up and take a picture with it. What this does is shows us that the customer is actually there applying for the phone. It's to make sure that no fraudulent applications are put in. What I'm going to do is go ahead and skip forward, show you what the PVT is, and then we'll take questions after that to see if you have any. So this is what the PVT is. It's used to upload your documentation. So you'll use this blue box right here to upload any documents that you are uploading. If it is a full piece of paper, what we require is you take that piece of paper, fold it in half, place it over the blue box. Make sure the American Assistance logo at the top is still showing. Make sure your signature, your order ID, and the today's date, and then the paragraph at the bottom is also still showing. Take a picture of the first side, flip that paper over, take a picture of it again, and then you upload those as whatever the proof may be. However, we do have two sizes. We also have a smaller size. This will be used for any type of ID or SNAP card, Medi-Cal card, anything along those lines. Same thing, you'll put it in the blue box, take your picture, and upload it to the account. When you are taking these pictures, it is best practice to take pictures to where the camera screen is around the white edges of it, because then it takes and makes the picture easily uploaded to the account, because there is a certain size that it has to be uploaded to Maximus. Also, when you're taking the picture, make sure you include all the words in the paragraph at the below of the PVT. And that will make it all set to be uploaded. You will get soft rejected if it's not in there. We have it there for a purpose. It's to show that you are understanding what you are signing. Another thing that we use the PVT for is the signature of the agent. We take this signature and verify what it is on there to what it is on the application when you sign it at the end with the customer. So it is used, it has dual purposes. It's actually multi-purpose. In between these in the training manual is also an FAQ. So if you have any questions about the PVT, we do require that the PVT is laminated, and we do prefer that you use a black or a blue dry erase marker because it's easier to read. We've had people try to use pink or yellow. It does not work. Does anyone have any questions about this? Okay, then we'll go ahead and continue. So this is an example of a PVT. This is something we did in-house. So this is what it would look like if you had the ID on there, and this is what it would look like if you took a picture of the piece of paper on there. We folded in half, took a picture, signed, order ID and dates there. Pretty easy. And then the picture of the customer. So you'll just take a picture of the customer. They're there holding the proof validation template, and you'll upload it. When you are uploading these, you need to make sure that you are choosing the correct document type. So if you're uploading the POE, the proof of eligibility, make sure you are choosing proof of eligibility. Same thing for ID, address, and then the customer photo. The customer photo can be labeled as either other or proof validation template. We're actually in the process of transitioning, so we do prefer the proof validation template over other, but we will accept other. The next section is the plan section. You will choose your plan, and then you have to choose SIM. Make sure you choose the SIM button. 9 times out of 10, someone will go to submit the order, and it'll come back an error that they have not filled something out, and it's that tiny little bubble, and it's a stickler. So just make sure you fill in that little bubble next to the SIM. The next section is you continue the order. You'll push continue. If you ever have any questions, you can always call agent support. Agent support's number is 877, I apologize, 877-319-5512. I have put that in chat. Never give this number out to customers, highly important. We do not take customer calls back here. We are for agent support only. But if you also have other questions you don't want to call in, it's just a quick thing, you can click the chat bubble for the compliance team in the bottom left-hand corner. If you're on a computer screen, it'll look like this. If you're on a tablet, you will just get the little bubble with the message picture in it. Once you have continued the application, you may get an error This error is a possible duplicate account was found. There is this account and it shows active. If you see one that says active and it has the same information as your customer, call into agent support so we can go ahead and look it up to see, yes, is it the same person, or can you proceed to create a new account? If it's not the same person, or it says inactive, de-enrolled, final build, something along those lines, you can scroll to the bottom of this error screen right here with the bar, and then you can click create new customer account. We do only currently allow 2 customers at one address. Do you have any questions about that? I've also in chat put in our customer service number. It is 877-266-7212. This is where if customers do need to reach customer service, this would be the number that they would call. So once you've done that, it'll go through all the different processes to verify everything, the address, and make sure that there are no duplicate accounts. If you're good to go, you'll get set to the order information section. Here, the customer will have to read initial, and then read initial again. The customer will sign, and then the agent will sign. The agent's signature must match the same signature that is on the PVT. The customer signature can either be the same signature that is on their driver's license, or they can print out their name. We prefer print, but we will allow the signature that is on their driver's license. If they do print, the agent has to print their first name and all of their last names and their suffix. So we'll go back to Jose Riviera III. He would have to spell out Jose. Yeah, I'm talking about customers. Oh, my apologies. I'm talking about customers, not agents. Sorry. The customer can print their first name. We'll go back to our Jose again. Jose Riviera Garcia III. It would be Jose Riviera Garcia and then the third. If his last name is Jose Riviera and it's hyphenated, the hyphen has to be in there as well. The agent cannot print their name at all. It has to be a signature. The next page that we have is the Lifeline certification form. This is pretty much giving them the rundown of what the Lifeline program is. They'll read it, they'll answer the questions, they'll have a couple initials, and the same thing with the other page is once you get to the bottom, it looks a lot bigger than it is, believe me, it's just because I have it blown up. Same thing, the customer will either sign per their driver's license or they'll print out their full name, minus the middle name, of course, and then the agent will sign matching the PVT. You'll accept the terms of this agreement. And if the customer is a head of household, meaning there are 2 people living in the same home, this is when it will trigger the household form. So same thing, the customer will go in, answer the questions. If you're a power of attorney, this is where you'll let them know. And then same thing, customer will sign, agent will sign. You'll accept the terms of the agreement. Once you have done that, this is when you'll get your confirmation page. This is where you will confirm your order. So you'll confirm your order. Please make sure that you confirm your order. If you don't confirm your order will be stuck in what is called construction, meaning that we will have to cancel it out and we will not be able to proceed further. Your next page, this is where you're confirming your order, will give you your confirmation screen. This is where you'll get your account number for the customer, that same order ID number that you already have on the PVT, and it'll show their address and a plan. To be able to review your orders, you'll go to the Customers tab at the top, and then on the left-hand side, you'll go to Orders. In there, you'll see your order, like here currently. It'll be blue if it's pending. It has not been audited. So you'll click the order ID number here, and then this is your drop-down menu. It says order not submitted, pending document approval, which means that it has not gone through our QC team, quality control team. So after it has been audited, it can turn one of 3 different colors. It can choose pink, red, or green. If you've been soft rejected, it will turn pink. If you've been hard rejected, it will turn red. If it has been approved, you will turn green. If by chance you do get soft rejected or hard rejected, what you'll do is you'll click that order ID number again to get that drop-down menu, and it'll give you your reason here. And then if the auditor has more information about why you were rejected, if you scroll to your right-hand side, you'll see the document review notes. It'll also give you notes here about anything else that is wrong. So here it's saying the address is invalid as well as ID is not clear, meaning they need to come up with a new address, and then you need to take the picture of the ID again because it's too blurry. Now, when you go to edit that web order to fix the things that you have done wrong, it'll take you back through the application process. Once you have filled out everything and corrected everything, you'll scroll to the bottom again to hit that continue. If you need to re-sign your documentation because of signatures issues, you will click a little checkbox there before you hit continue, and that'll prompt those pages to come up again as well. How long do most orders pend? Also, what causes most orders to be soft rejected? For the orders pending, we asked you to give them 5 to 10 minutes, 10 minutes being tops, but usually it's like 3 to 5 minutes tops. They're pretty fast about getting orders in and out. Worst case scenario is if the system gets bogged down where everybody decides to work that day during that hour, that's when they tend to run a little bit longer. Soft reject, the biggest one is invalid addresses and signatures. Signatures would be that we can't read it, or like the agents aren't matching up their signatures, or the customer is not printing, where we can read it, or they're actually signing and it's not matching the driver's license. The address, one thing that I can give for that's a helpful information is 9 times out of 10, what we end up having to do here in the office is we Google the address. So if you have an issue, before you even call us, take that address, type it into Google, and see what it pulls up. So if you see that it's a business right away, you'll know right there you were rejected because you gave us the business address. We can't take it. We do not take any temporary housing. We do not take any homeless shelters. PO boxes we do not take. Halfway. Oh, and rehab centers. That's another one that we do not take. So those are the 2 biggest ones that we see here in the office. Any other questions? Okay. So once you get that approval that everybody's wanting, this is where we begin to attach the SIM to the account or the ESN number. So you'll get into this first little box. It'll turn green, and then on the right-hand side, it'll say ESN. This is where you'll type in that SIM number. If they're asking for an email address and it's saying that it's required and they don't have one, you can just type in a fake email address, aa@aa.aa. But it should not. No worries at all. Next, you will have to put in the IMEI number. When you're looking at the IMEI number on the phone, we will I won't say always, but like 95% of the time, we go with IMEI number one. Occasionally, two will get scanned, but majority of the time it is one. But occasionally it will be two. So what we suggest is try putting in one. If it doesn't work, then go ahead and put two in. If you have an error after that, then call into agent support so we can take a look at it and see what's going on. So you'll put that in and submit it. And then that's when it'll pop up and give you that MDN, that phone number for the customer. Huh? Sorry, the SIM number will actually be on a little white card that comes with the phone. It'll have a barcode on it. I don't know if I have a picture on my computer. I can see if I can find one. Um, I'll upload one here in a second of it so that way you can see what one looks like. And then as far as the IMEI, you cannot use the IMEI. If you put in an IMEI and it's not something we have in the system, it will not take it. It will not take it until you have a correct one. Only IMEIs that we have added to the system will work. Any other questions? In Virginia, we're working on that picture, so it shouldn't be too much longer. So once you have gotten that approval, that's when you want to start doing the activating the phone. So you'll put the SIM card in the phone, you'll put the battery in the phone, you'll power it on, and you'll do the setup of the phone. I am going to type here in chat. We actually have an activation line now, so you can call in and get your phone activated. It is 419-205-9509. And it's an automated prompt message where it'll say, hey, your phone's activated, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, it's super easy. It's something that we came up with recently, and it seems to be doing great. So that way, you don't have to call random people. One thing when you make the test call, you do have to get permission from the customer. So you do need to say, hey, so-and-so, is it okay if I make a test call on your phone to make sure that your line is activated? The customer can, if they want to, make the activation call themselves, but they need to do it in front of you because we need to make sure that that phone is active before it goes out with that customer. One thing, once you have finished and made that activation call, if there are no issues, make sure you give the customer their phone number, their account number, their device with all the boxes and materials that the phone came with. Make sure you give them customer services phone numbers. And never give out agent support number to them. If you ever have to do a swap, where say you turn on the phone and it has a completely white screen or a completely black screen, what you do is you will call us here in the office. We are here from 7:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you have any questions, you can call us during that time. And we can definitely help you with the swap. Most of the time, we'll go through the repair process, see if we can do a repair so we don't have to waste another phone. If we can't do the repair, that's when we'll switch and do a swap. When you do a swap, that phone that is bad, you will take that SIM card and put it in that box and write on that box bad phone. Some kind of message stating, what was wrong with it. It can be in the lid of the box, on the top of the box, does not matter. But we need to know, that phone was bad. If it if you guys need to do a swap after the times that we're not here in the office, so after that 7 p.m. window, which would be 4 p.m. your guys' time in California, then what you have to do is hold on to that phone and get a meetup spot with that customer, so that way they can come back and meet with you the next day, so that way you can get the phone back to them after you've called in and got the swap taken care of. Does anyone have any questions about swaps? Thanks. No, no, no. I don't want them calling me all day long. For the soft reject notes in here, they'll give you a basic rundown of, why you're being soft rejected, like no ID. You didn't upload an ID to the account. Orders were submitted during, or not during business hours. So it was canceled out for that reason. The suffix must be in the suffix box, anything like that. This is a great rundown just to give you some kind of idea of why they're being soft rejected. That's why I say it is the best practice to keep this with you at all times. So if you have questions, you have this to refer back to, but also you can always call us here. We'll do our best to help you any way that we possibly can. So now, do you have any questions before I go ahead and do a mock order? So this is what our website looks like to log in. It is Fusion. So you'll put your username and password in that you have been provided. Here, this is your customers tab. This is where our compliance team is, where you can chat with them. And then this will be where you put in your new order. So you'll click new order, American Broadband, and then here is our screen. Take note of the order ID on the left-hand side and make sure you would put that on your PVT. Then you begin filling in your information. Fill in the first and last name, and then their address. And then permanent address. And then say they had the phone number, this is where you'd fill it in. And if they had that email address, this is where you'd fill it in as well. Then their date of birth. And then the last four of their social. I will be activating a device that will be given to me now. And then, yes, they do receive food stamps or Medicaid. Yet again, I'm going to go with SNAP again, so that way you can see the new SNAP account number box. So this is where you would put the SNAP in there. Then it'll ask what kind of documentation. This is where you choose the official document that was given to them by the state. What do you mean exactly if the ID is a little different from the proof? Meaning like the name is spelled different or like the address is different? The name has to be exactly what is on their driver's license. That is what has to be on the account. We use their ID to verify their identity. Are you asking if the name on the ID is different from like what the eligibility is? Okay. So their name from their ID needs to be the same as what is on their eligibility. So say, we'll go to Jose again, Jose Riviera Garcia. If their stamp card says Jose Riviera, we will take that. Tim and Timothy, majority of the time, we will take that as long as it's a case where there's a second verifier. Meaning, like, if say you're giving me your Medi-Cal card, say your ID says Timothy, I don't even want to pronounce your last name wrong, so we're going to go with mine. Say it says Timothy Moreland, and then on your POE it'll say Tim Moreland, but it has your date of birth of May 31st, 1987. We would take that as long as that date of birth is the same date of birth that is on your driver's license. Does that make sense? Okay. So then you'll put the stamp number in there, and this is where you begin to attach the documentation. First thing you do is choose your documentation type. We're going to go ahead and choose identity because I'm going to attach the driver's license first. That'll then prompt the choose file box. You'll choose file, and then you'll upload that ID. Then to add their proof of eligibility, you will click it again, proof of eligibility, choose file, and that is now in the documentation as well. If I had a picture of the customer on my account, I would upload it, but this is where you would upload the picture of the customer onto the account. So I would choose add more documentation, proof of validation template. I think I have a picture up here. And then upload the picture as well. Then you would move on to the plan section. Hold on. Can you take a picture, or does it have to be uploaded first? We highly suggest taking the pictures beforehand because it runs faster and smoother. You can do it on the spot, but we've seen it where there are issues doing it. So our best practice is to take the pictures first. Also, we suggest using Google Chrome. Safari does not work very well, and neither does Internet Explorer. So please use Google Chrome if you can. So the next section, the plan, you choose the Lifeline Unlimited Talk and Text. You choose the SIM button, that little stickler right there, and then choose Continue. This is what it's going to do. It's asking to verify the address. Is this the same address? If it is the same thing, you go ahead and continue with this address. They may have put like a space or an extra letter in Boulevard. So continue with this address. And then you'll go through here. So see how this one says final build? That's not the same customer, so we would be able to proceed. This one is active. It's an active account. But again, I am not Robert Floyd, so I can go ahead and continue. So I click Create New Customer Account. And it's continuing the verification process. Now it'll prompt me to go into the form. Okay. So this first page here, you would fill this in with the customer's information. Well, not you, the customer themselves would read it and they would initial. And then sign. And then, as an agent, you want to make sure you sign appropriately. Kind of hard with the mouse cursor versus a finger. And at this time, this is where I would not be able to go any farther because this is where they verify everything through the database. So I can't go any further with the mock-up order. But if you have any questions, please let me know. Or any other questions out of the norm of an order, you can let us know those as well, and we will do our best to answer. Thank you. I appreciate that. If there are no orders, we'll go ahead, or not orders, my bad. And if there are no questions, we'll go ahead and end a little early and let you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And if you can, get out there, put some orders in, and get people signed up. Have a good day, guys.